Hello and welcome everyone back to the Calvin Crypto video. I hope you guys are doing well. Today we are back with another banger PulseChain video, giving you guys the latest and greatest of crypto news. And today you're going to be leaving this video not only more bullish in general in crypto, but also in your bags. So watch the whole video through. We're going to cover the latest updates in terms of PulseChain and more specifically with the latest news regarding PDAI and the Atropa ecosystem. Information that you need to know. So yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. Before we jump into that, we're going to cover a little bit of the macroeconomics and where is Bitcoin and Ethereum today, which today's a nice green day to see. Bitcoin is at plus 4.8%, Ethereum plus 2.8%, and in general PulseChain, of course, because it's an altcoin, we are seeing a slight a 2x of what Ethereum does. That's the definition of an altcoin. It is a leverage of whatever Ethereum does. Do remember that we are not a hedge of Ethereum. We are a leverage of whatever it does. So by default, we have to believe in Ethereum, which I will make a whole separate video why Ethereum is going to be super bullish. I understand the price action doesn't reflect that, but by the time people wait to buy Ethereum because they're waiting for the price chart to update, it's going to be too late. You have to follow the smart money, ladies and gentlemen. If you know about the smart money, the whales that are accumulating Ethereum, guys, BlackRock 3x'd their Ethereum position in the past months silently. World Liberty Finance, their biggest holding is Ethereum, followed by wrapped BTC. Go look it up. You see what I'm saying? So don't wait until the price, until the chart updates, because that's way too late. Don't try to follow the crowd, which, by the way, you can do that by sentimental analysis. When you go to, for example, Coinbase, you look at the fear and greed index, you'll see that everyone is fearful. Majority of people are fearful. And let me ask you this. When is the last time that the crowd was correct? You have to be contrarian all the time. You have to be contrarian. But just a quick reminder, by the way, that we are in a cyclical bull and bear market cycle. So the longer that we are, and by the way, this has been the longest bear market, that is a fact. We've seen a lot of impedance. This is why I'm more likely to believe that we are going to enter a super cycle. The last time we were at a super cycle was when Donald Trump also won the election. But now we have Donald Trump, which is a more pro-crypto president than ever as well. Really great news, which we're going to cover a little bit of news on that side as well. But just a reminder, guys, okay, when everyone's fearful, you have to flip the switch, rewire your brain, and actually look at it in terms of a maximum buying opportunity at these lows. Okay, so there's that. A little bit more into the macroeconomics here. I'm going to cover this is the Ethereum USD chart. So I've showed this before. I do believe that we can reach a 7K plus Ethereum is a walk in the park just by using Fibonacci expansions. And then a 10K plus Ethereum, that's where I really think is kind of going to be an aspirational, but so obviously have your own milestones to take profits. DCA on the way DCA on your way up and DCA on your way out. That's what I always tell people. So there is that. So keep that in mind. Yes, I understand that Ethereum right now is absolutely bad. The ETH BTC has went to even lower lows, breaking down at right now 0.0187. Crazy stuff. But I still do believe in Ethereum. It's not going to go anywhere. It will always be the top two crypto in general. Because guys, listen, I've seen a lot of people talk about, what is Donald Trump doing with the whole tariff thing? Okay, and that's probably, again, more in detail, maybe for a separate video. But let me tell you, one of his white swan cards would be to do the whole 0% capital gains on crypto. Okay, now I don't think he's going to do that yet because of the recent, we just started a new tax here. But what's crazy is that when that happens, people are going to flock towards crypto. But oh my God, I need to put my money in crypto, right? So then now they're going to look at Bitcoin. Great, store value, still has some volatility. They're now going to think about the best DeFi innovation, the best crypto utility at this point, which is what? Stablecoins. Where are stablecoins? On Ethereum, guys. What enabled the creation of these ERC20 contracts and the complexities between them? We've seen MakerDAO. It's Ethereum that started this. It's what innovated the crypto industry, guys, that we know of. Right? Bitcoin hasn't been updated in over a decade. Okay, we've seen Ethereum go from proof of work to proof of stake, and now we have a Pectra upgrade soon, which by the way, I think right now is in testnet. And now we have a whole a privacy Ethereum, what is it? It was like, this is what Richard had tweeted about, a privacy, there you go, Ethereum privacy, the road to self-sovereignty, privacy Ethereum research. I'm going to cover that in a separate video. So guys, let me tell you, Ethereum is going to be bullish, which is great. This is good, what we want for PulseChain, right? So keep that in mind. Anyways, moving on to the next chart that I want to show you guys. And for everyone who's been in the Telegram group chat, yes, I haven't been uploading that many videos as frequent on my YouTube channel, which I'm going to get back to it for sure. It's just life has been getting a little bit busy. But one of my favorite indicators to look at is the M2 money supply, which basically is an accumulation of M1 money supply and M2, which is the liquid cash and non-liquid cash assets. I'm just going to keep it the simplest way. And yes, it has been rapidly growing. Now, from the research that I've done, some people would like to say that the M2 money is correlated with Bitcoin, but with a 75-day lag. Some people say with a 115-day lag or 100 days lag. I want to keep it as close as possible, which I think 75-day has been very correct in terms of that correlation, because you can see here it's been lining up quite well. And finally, Bitcoin has reached that intersection point that a lot of people know, that I've been mentioning in my previous videos. So guys, this is an important part. Look at this, because now if Bitcoin goes on track, we see where it goes, and M2 money supply is continuing to rise, guys. So I'm telling you right now, it does seem like we might get a 120K Bitcoin this summer, guys. 120K this summer. And you guys already know, through Hart's law, through indirect and direct liquidity bonding between Bitcoin to Ethereum, and between Ethereum to Pulse, and Pulse to whatever you're holding on PulseChain. This is a huge win. Adoption, and of course, you know, with the whole thing that's going on with hopefully soon, I think quantitative easing is going to be confirmed. One of the reasons why we finally got a response from the Federal Reserve, because Donald Trump is literally trying to fire 2 chairmen from the Federal Reserve. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, they've replied back a little bit here by saying Federal Reserve is absolutely ready to help stabilize the market if needed, top officials say. Because why? They've actually been keeping the inflation rate kind of low, which I think is good, because they're reserving it for ammo for when it's needed to be done. That's the whole thing, the business cycle. You know, you have the quantitative tightening, and then we go into quantitative easing. I think they call it the liquidity cycle as well. That's another way to call it. But in general, guys, when the US dollar gets weaker, right, this is where usually risk on assets like crypto is a better option for people to move their buying power towards. Okay, so this is why it's a huge win. We're entering that side of that side of the cycle. And if you thought that, okay, what if Bitcoin topped? I'm going to show you another chart that I've actually been researching recently. This is the total global liquidity index versus the Bitcoin. And what if I told you that the bull run has just started today, by the time I'm recording this video, April 11th of April, today. Okay, you might call me crazy, but let me tell you why. Because we've just finally broke an all-time high with the global liquidity index, ladies and gentlemen. We just did it. So at this point, when was it really a bull run, guys? Okay, so keep that in mind. I'm super excited for the future. And by the way, yes, this is the global liquidity index. I can make a whole separate tutorial on how I can use those, I can, you can set up those charts, how you can compare 2 charts, etc. But yeah, usually they say there's another 75-day delay. I also realize it could be even longer than that. But yeah, you can see that, from this bottom to where we are today is around a 90-day delay. But you can see in this example, if we compare the length is around 70-day. So we are overdue for a definite rally up, reversal for Bitcoin, which either way, by the way, Bitcoin has been doing absolutely well. If we look at the Bitcoin chart here, if I change that to the 1 week and disable the M2 money supply, and then enable the 50-week moving average, which by the way, that's one of the greatest indicators. And again, I'm giving you guys a lot of alpha here before we go into PulseChain, but I just like to share the knowledge. I don't need to gatekeep any of this. Okay, but yes, if you really want to dig deeper, you can join as a YouTube member, and of course you have access to my psychology of the market cycle, where I talk a lot about this, guys. Okay, I talk about when should you take profits, what is how to not fall under the 95% of people, right, who are either married to their bags, or the 90-90-90 rule, which is 90% of new people who trade lose 90% of their money in 90 days. So be careful from falling under that trap. So yeah, there's a little bit of an advanced playlist right now. There's part 5 to it. You can obviously, it goes to support me. And just another quick reminder, if you are new to crypto, or if you're even not, if you just want to learn more about cybersecurity and operational security, I have a course, link in the description, the complete crypto and DeFi security guide. Now, I do urge every single one to go and keep learning, because the scammers out there, guys, they're evolving. They're figuring out new ways. So you have to stay on top of the game about cybersecurity and OPSEC. So I'll leave the link in the description. Now listen, if you cannot afford it, there is a code that I've been sharing around, which is PDAI. Literally just type in PDAI, it'll give you 100% discount. Listen, I don't need to make money with this course now. The bull run is not prime season. Bull run is a little bit down the line. So in the meantime, I just want people to literally take advantage of this. This is leveraging thousands of hours. I've been here in the previous bull run. I've learned through very tough and expensive lessons. So I'm sharing it all here. So I hope you guys find it useful. And obviously as well, go join the farmers community, link in the description. You guys are amazing, by the way. I love every single one of you who are watching this. I read all the comments, even if it's positive or negative. This is fine. This is the whole point of PulseChain. We are representing freedom of speech. Okay, you will never catch me fudding anyone else's project. Okay, if I don't like something, I just won't speak about it. Why would I go out of my way to hate on someone else's success? Okay, because let me tell you, there's a saying: hate on success, success shall hate on you. And that's something that really scares me, man. Okay, it really does scare me. So, you know what I mean? If you're making money elsewhere, really great for you. Comment it down below. Actually, I might need to check out that project. You know what I mean? And talk about it. So, so join the group chat, be part of the community, especially at these times where it's maximum fear. For example, for me, I make these videos, and sometimes it actually helps reinforce seeing other people comment. I'm like, okay, hold on, this is actually pretty cool. I'm sharing it, the network effects and stuff. So yeah. Anyways, Bitcoin is hovering over the 50 weekly moving average, which is absolutely well. It's actually doing quite well when you compare it to stuff like the S&P 500, where it's gone way lower, and usually Bitcoin is an amplified effect of the S&P 500, but actually it's not. It seems like some people even say, hold on, did Bitcoin depeg from the S&P 500 because it's doing way better than Bitcoin's doing way better than S&P 500. But yeah, anyways, all you need to know is the 50 weekly moving average is the ultimate Bitcoin are we in a bull run indicator, which yes, the answer is yes, by the way. So me talking about the global liquidity index today starting the bull run, obviously it's just a little bit of a clickbait there. But aside from that, guys, moving on to the world of PulseChain, top projects today that are doing quite well in terms of volume. Let's click in terms of liquidity. Hex is up 7.6%. Pulse, the main gas fee token of the whole chain, 8.6%. INC, the liquid gold right now, which has experienced 4 Bitcoin halving, basically similar effects, because the Richard Hart has lowered it all the way down to, like, what is it again? If we go to the farms, yeah, 0.05, if I remember, 0.03, guys, 0.03, effectively, disincentivizing people from providing liquidity. That just means in the next leg up, guys, we are going to pump way harder, and we've already seen 2 legs up. Okay, or at least I did in March of 2024 and in November 2024. Okay, we had those 2 mini altcoin seasons basically. Now imagine we do that again, but it's actually with lower liquidity, and it's actually Bitcoin going over 150K, where it's the first alt season wave, right? So far, by the way, we have not seen the first alt season wave that I've been talking about. Those 2, they don't really count. These are just mini alt season waves. So I'm super excited, guys. Okay, really excited for what we have in the future. But yeah, we have a little update here from Truth Social, which is Donald Trump's Twitter, basically. And he said here, this is a great time to buy. So, he's doing that as he's we're entering trade wars with China and a lot of other countries. I think right now the tariff for China is around 104%. It might even go higher. And I think he's doing that. There's a little bit of game theory here. I think he's doing that so that we can then reach an agreement to actually have it, I don't know, a 0-0. I think that's what's going on with Europe. I think Europe and America, which is good. So it is a little bit of game theory going on. So, you just have to sit back and watch it, watch it from the sidelines, really. I do trust Donald Trump, to be honest with you. Like, he's a businessman. He knows how to run things. I feel like, he's obviously way better than the Biden administration. And I've actually even seen like the US employment rate has actually been increasing in the past 2 months. So people look at different variables, and I truly do believe the true recession indicator is the employment rate, right? We do want to see the interest rates cut, as he's already talking about, quantitative easing. I think it's going to be really great. It's now going to allow people to what? Borrow more money to then what? Right? The whole point of that's what the Federal Reserve want. They want people like you and I to literally save less, guys. They want to spend more. So you know what? Fair enough. You want to play that game? Then lower the interest rates. Right now, I think it's at 4 point something. Lower the interest rates. You're now going to encourage people who are, households, businesses, organizations, institutional investors, retail investors to borrow money to literally do two things: consume and invest. Both are good for the economy. So, hey, just let it happen at this point. You know what I mean? Jeremy, like he spoke about, and we're going to start off with that tweet here with a big shout out from our friend Sami here saying, bull alert, Donald Trump is getting closer to being able to fire Jerome Powell, Fed chairman. Okay, this would be epic for the interest rate cuts and QE stimulus. Now, listen, guys, I'm not gonna lie, when I read this, I do get a little bit worried, and I really hope Donald Trump stays safe during these times. I really do hope so. But yes, he has, I think, proposed a request to the Supreme Court. I think there was I had an article somewhere, but anyways, he had a request to the Supreme Court to literally be able to fire two people, I think, that he wanted. But let's read more about this. US Insight, the Robert nudges Fed closer to loss of independence. The Fed's ability to conduct monetary policy free of political interference is under imminent threat. On April 9th, the legal struggle over this issue moved one step closer to the climatic battle. Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts reversed a lower court ruling and allowed President Donald Trump to proceed for now with firing two officials who lead independent agencies. Their legal situation is the same as that of Federal Reserve governors, making the outcome of their cases pivotal to the Fed's own independence. Roberts ordered lawyers for the two fired officials, or I guess to be fired officials, to respond by April 15th. It's increasingly clear the issue eventually will be argued before the Supreme Court. So, we'll sit back and read more on that. It does seem like a white swan event. I feel like, Donald Trump launching a meme, it was not the white swan event. Now that you really think about it, you know what I mean? That's really nothing. Okay, it really is nothing. Crypto is way bigger than that. It is way bigger than that, but fair enough. There's money to be made in Salah. Don't get me wrong. I still have a few bags over there. Yeah. Anyways, another tweet here from Sami. Big shout out to him, talking about the DXY, which is the US dollar index. As it gets weaker, this is another indicator. It's an inverse proportion with how well the whole crypto market does, which is, I guess, in our case, would be another indicator would be the total crypto market, and in general others total crypto market. So if I quickly do this and disable the global liquidity index, you can see right now we are currently at 2.6 trillion. This is in 2024. Yeah, we almost peaked at 3.6, but using Fibonacci retracement, Fibonacci expansion, that is nowhere near in prime bull run season. Let me tell you this. I'm actually estimating to be around 7 trillion plus. We can say 7 trillion as a minimum with a, I don't know, 20% plus minus 20% error, error percentage. So we're going to say, let's say, maybe 15%. Anything over 5 trillion, then if it's plus minus 20% error, we'll say anything over 5.8 trillion is like we are in prime time bull run season. Okay, so yeah, we haven't hit that spot yet. Bitcoin's dominance, we have not, went all the way down to 40%, or even at least, like, let's say at least 50%. Nothing. So yeah, let me tell you guys, there's a lot of great things ahead of us in crypto. Like, it's going to be very, very interesting. Okay, do not capitulate. So yeah, he talks about, the Dixie going down is good for crypto and risk on assets. So big shout out to Sami there. And then I just wanted to talk about a little bit more here, just before we go into PulseChain. Well, more about PDAI and Atropa. There was a clip here that I saw from Matty, where he was live streaming, and then all of a sudden he kicked off Kareem. But not only did he kick him off for that one live stream, he kicked him off the show for the next future live streams, which is crazy, right? You think that got way crazier. But then he followed it by literally writing a long ass tweet, kind of like talking really badly about Kareem, saying like, oh, how he talks so much. I've had these negative comments for such a long time. I feel like it's about time. Oh, I was so, stupid for not knowing to do the right thing. No, man, hold on. Like, I feel like, bro, at this point, from all the time that he's been in your show, like, wouldn't you call him a friend? Even if you don't agree with your friend, you're not going to talk shit about him behind his back. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like this has gone way overboard. He was just bringing up very good ass points, talking about the instructions. Like, what are you talking about, bro? And then when we even look at your chart, the Matty, what is it called again? Good die, I guess. Yeah, that's what it's called. Good die. If you look at the good die, like, guys, come on, man. It's, And apparently the airdrop, which is in the tweet, guys, you will be surprised. So it turns out, and I've already commented about this. Turns out that not all, at the beginning, it was supposed to be the PDAI holders are going to get an airdrop, so that, okay, we focus on the new PDAI, right? But off the bat, and I hope I let people know and remind them, hey, by the way, whatever he's talking about is just a regular PRC20 token that has no pegging, no vaults, no stability functionalities at all. Okay, matter of fact, he used GoPulse Minter. When you go on GoPulse right here, right there, when you go on GoPulse to coins and mint, literally, he used this. Okay, he literally typed in good die PDAI supply, and he said 55 billion, which I don't know why he made that way too much. Okay, way too much. 55 billion as a supply. And then actually, when you go and look in the only LP, there's only 70,000 of that. Guys, this is a joke. Like, you guys need to understand, this is actually a joke of an LP. You put 70,000 in the LP, which is, when you get to the percentage, what is 70,000 of 55 billion? Literally, when you try to get it in a percentage, it's like 0.00003. It's nothing. It's a joke. So if you're not airdropped good PDAI, it's not even worth buying it from the LP, because you're getting diluted shares. It's not even a joke. Like, it's not even funny. I mean, anyways, man, and I made a tweet here. And I said, hold on, let me get this straight. The people who sacrificed didn't get their good DAI airdrop. So it kind of gets worse, unfortunately, because, bro, like, Matty, he's the type of guy, like, I really found him inspirational because he's very good. He's front-facing person. He has done, the Hex conference. I think this is the 4th one. And like, just in general, how he speaks networking and stuff, a really great representative for PulseChain. I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm not going to lie. But then he makes a token, bro. You're not good at making tokens. I'm really sorry. Matty was a flop. The liquidity over there is like $500. And then, okay, someone bought $5 and it pumped the price up 20%. And now he makes a tweet about it. Like, what? And he says, market has chosen. Like, what, bro? What are you talking about? Like, who? It literally is probably some arbitrage bots giving its donations. Like, oh, you know, I'm going to leave $5 for you. You look down. You know what I mean? And then now he's launching a good DAI, which is literally just a PRC20 from Go Pulse Mint. And then now it gets kind of even worse, where the people who sacrificed, not all of them are getting an airdrop, which is crazy. Because then I saw a screenshot where he said no expectation of tokens or something like that, which is different from what Richard Hart said. Richard Hart, when he did the sacrifice, he said no expectation of value. So of course everyone got their tokens, but we didn't have expectation of whatever value it's gonna have. Like, I sacrificed in PulseX, and I was quite happy. You know, I was literally quite happy. I had a chance to sell at a 3x on the first day, right? Or yeah, on a 3x or etc. But of course, there's no expectation of whatever value it's gonna be. But at the end of the day, I still received my tokens that I sacrificed for. Like, but you're telling me here now, people that sacrificed, which by the way, he sacrificed, people sacrificed 500k, is still in the wallet. And I think he put it on 6 or 7 day locks, which I think today is one of the first unlocks for people. And it seems like it's really difficult for people to unlock it. I've seen him talk in a live stream where he said, you have to know how to code because there's no front end. Because Richard Hart talks about, basically sucking middleman D for connecting to a front end. Like, come on, bro. I feel like that's just an excuse to not make a front end. Guys, I do feel a little bit secondhand embarrassment. You know. So anyways, I'm not even gonna speak more about this. Let's just go on with it. It really is kind of bringing me down. I ain't gonna lie. Like, if this is all to fix DAI at this point, if the real PDAI, right, this chart right here, which I'm gonna talk about, if this one doesn't work, don't try to revive it with some other BS token, guys. Same thing with Teddy Bear. Okay, I want to give a comment quickly about Teddy Bear. I think they launched a new JPEG version of Teddy Bear from Pump Tires. You guys already know. I feel like Pump Tires, there's no longevity there. It feels like a fake community, right? Most is not part of the core tokens. I've seen PTGC bond their PTGC with the new Teddy from Pump Tire, and I feel like it's kind of a mistake, because you actually take an equal amount of risk when you bonded it with PDAI, equally with Teddy, because all three of them, well, in my opinion, I still think PDAI is obviously a core token, but of course right now it is in high risk, but I still believe in PDAI. But when you compare it to, okay, therefore let's now pair it with let's pair it with Teddy. No, that's equal amount of risk. Okay, so I don't like it. I feel like if Teddy Bear, the one that Atropa made, if it's not successful, then don't try to do a CTO, because a CTO, what does that actually mean, guys? A CTO literally means where the community takes over that token, which, by the way, effectively that's been the case in all of 2024. Atropa never made a website. Atropa never paid for deck screen or logo or anything. It was all us. This is why I love Teddy Bear. And we will see, man. Well, what's Atropa's intentions? We will see. We can still see his holdings. He didn't bridge it. Well, he bridged it to Ethereum, but he didn't try to obfuscate it into another wallet and send it to a centralized exchange. So we're still seeing what is he gonna do with that money. I can't really give any further comments, but hey, I would rather hold that Teddy Bear, the OG Teddy Bear, and not react to anything than buying this fake Teddy Bear, in my opinion, because come on, man. At this point, just come up with a new meme and make it. Don't try to revive something when the first one didn't really die. Okay, at this point, almost everything died because of the state that we are in crypto. Literally, everything is down. Even Pulse, guys, the core token, created new all-time lows. What, are we gonna make a JPEG version of Pulse? You know what I mean? What? Come on, guys. Come on. Come up with something else. and it does seem like a little bit of who launched Teddy? Was it B Roots? He's denying it. He's denying it, but it literally feels like he did. Like, come on, bro. He's denying it though, but bro, it's basically you basically launched it. Like, let's not lie. You know what I mean? Let's not lie. You're shitting very hard for it, very very hard. Okay, which hey, I have no problems. You believe in it, good for you. Now everyone needs to hold the same bags that I hold. Okay, there's so many opportunities in PulseChain that I just can't be in all of them unless I'm gonna end up feeling spreading myself too thin. Where if one of them did 100x, it's not gonna be meaningful gains. So I have to believe in what I hold. And listen, I keep it simple. I like to stay true to myself and true to you guys. So matter of fact, none of my narratives have changed. I still believe that it's the core 7: PWC, PDAI, Pulse, PulseX, Hex, eHex. Right? Yes, I'm one of the in June when eHex was at its all-time low. As a matter of fact, that's when I made a video and I said I became a Hexican and I started buying up eHex. Okay, that's even after what? Around March of last year, 2024, when Richard Hart literally fired so many tweets, effectively killing eHex, saying the market has chosen this and that. Like, so many guys, you'd actually think like, hold on, whoa, he really doesn't want anyone to buy eHex. Some people still think that, oh yeah, eHex is dead. But guess what? It's not. After that, it literally continued to do a 10x from all-time low, guys. Okay, so this is why I want to look at stuff like, okay, the PDAI stuff. How many times did he tweet about PDAI? Fudding it. 33. It went to 34, and then he deleted one tweet. It went to 33. What is 33? His favorite number. Coincidence? I really don't believe in coincidences in life in general. I feel like everything is meant to be. I'm going to make a whole nother episode about the whole numerology behind it, or how Bitcoin, how PDAI's bottom was at 55555x to $1, which is crazy. The all-time low of PDAI was a 555, that number, his favorite number, which is the max stake of Hex. You know what I mean? Like, these are not, I don't believe in coincidences, guys. So, moving on to the next segment here, just with PDAI info. This is the Joy variable, the available DAI in the VAT contract. You can see that we are actually been trending lower. We went as low as 97 million in the Joy variable, and right now we're hovering just over that. So this is actually my next milestone. Is really, I'm going to reevaluate my PDAI in general, thoughts on it when we get that flop auction to happen, which I feel like either way it's a pivotal moment, because it literally all depends on those minters, the exploiters, if they're benevolent or malevolent, because undoubtedly they're selling the PDAI, they're getting it out from the VAT, they're putting it back, redistributing it back into the pools, and then they're taking that cash, bridging it over using Tornado Cash, and then hey, that's the theory. The theory is that they're bridging it back into PulseChain and buying back the PDAI, so that then when the flop auction happens, they give in the PDAI for P Maker, and then the next story continues, which there could be a few different routes that can happen. One of them could be activating the the ESM module, which basically will just disable everything. Like, it will hold to the whole system, where PDAI will now just become like just a token with all its functions, like disabled basically. And there is another, like, if he was malevolent, which is obviously something that I'm going to keep an eye on. If it wasn't a malevolent actor, which I don't really think it is, by the way, he could literally increase that debt ceiling to like hundreds of billions, and then extract as much as possible with no limits from the vaults, from the existing vaults and from the pre-fork vaults that are available, that are under collateralized, that he can trigger the liquidation, blah blah blah, and then he can sell it. Fair enough. That's if he was malevolent. So I'm telling you, this is a pivotal moment for PDAI. But the question still stands. Okay, if it was a real exploit, why can't anyone else replicate it? You know what I mean? You can't tell me, yes, he's smart, or he's prepared this for 2 years. Okay? Like, no, that's not good enough excuse. We have super smart devs that are commentating about this, that are still saying there's still unanswered questions, which I do feel like at the end of the day, you know, this is why we're here today. I can't tell you that PDAI is, you know, Richard Hart is behind it or Richard is not. Okay. But it is quite interesting how Richard Hart, you know, in some tweets, you can really see how he's sarcastic, making memes. You know, when he made that meme where he said the extractor and he put his name in the bottom right, it's crazy. And then he puts a hat, you know, image on by his name. It really is crazy stuff, guys. Like, what a time to be in crypto. So yeah, just a quick reminder, this is not an exploit, what's happening right now. Here's why. It is a, you know, the P maker is not broken, gaming the fork, not exploiting code, using words like hack or scam, etc. What really happened, outdated Oracle prices, which I believe right now is stuck at 1.8K from the fork, from PulseChain launch time, forked state, pre-fork privileges. Okay, so that could be, you know, is this one of the MakerDAO team? I don't know. Is it one person? Is it a whole team? Literally, we don't know. Okay, moving on to the next tweet here, which is a big shout out from Zach talking about the AMM bot, right? That was minting PDAI in the early days of PulseChain when it launched. You know, why was the AMM bot address interacting with a stupid, broken, infinite minting Vietnamese friendly MakerDAO on PulseChain 2 days after the launch of Spark DAI protocols, 1 day after the Ethereum PulseChain snapshot, and 2 days before the launch of May 13th. So yeah, that same AMM bot was minting PDAI using the gem join contract even before PulseChain launched. You know, and it's another, is it really a coincidence that PulseChain, the snapshot happened like 1 day after the Spark DAI protocol launched? You know, it's crazy. Really is crazy stuff. You can see hell of a steal getting over 100 million PDAI for only 15,000 Pulse. Really crazy stuff. So a big shout out to Zach here. And a tweet from Somi just talking about the whole thing. 2 days before PulseChain launched, there was a PDAI mint that occurred. May 11th, 2023 was the date of the PDAI minting. May 13th was the PulseChain launch. Probably nothing. And he showed a screenshot of that. Guys. Really cool stuff. Okay, going on. I'm telling you, I feel like this is way bigger than we think. This is why I'm sticking out to find out, because really, at the end of the day, I have to take a risk at something, guys. Okay? It really depends on everyone's risk tolerances, but really think about it. Like, what makes PulseChain unique? If it's not for PDAI, really, what differentiates us from the other layer 1 forks? I don't know. I have no answer. What is your answer? Comment down below. So we have another tweet here from Pulse Daiwen. By the way, huge, big shout out to this Twitter account. Go follow him. Okay, gives you latest alpha. The PDAI starting position is clearly bullish. We are facing a structural shift. The debt ceiling has been consistently above 25 billion for months, stable since at least last December. And although 411 million was in surplus and 1.2 billion was in the Joy account, meaning a total of 1.6 billion was hitting in the VAT contract. This is this very cushion has now melted away. The surplus is at 0 and Joy is at 187 million, basically. The bottom line is around 1 billion of PDAI has moved from the VAT into the circulating supply without the debt ceiling having given way even a millimeter. This is not a sign of weakness. This is the buildup of a structural tension. The decisive trigger is imminent. Deflation will only truly set in when the flop auctions begin. Exactly. And what's missing from Brett's analysis is the true extent of the deficit. We're talking about 1.3 billion PDAI on Pulse in excess in the system, according to PMaker himself. Once this deficit is reduced to 0 through flops, the total PDAI supply will drop by approximately 1 billion. We can double check that. Is the system deficit right now 1.3 billion. So that's basically, guys, what you're looking right here. This is future PDAI buy and burn. Okay, basically. Okay, if you think about it. So yeah, 1.3 billion. PDAI is going to be deflationary. It's going to be huge, guys. It really is going to be huge. And he says here, Once this deficit is reduced to zero through the flops, the total PDAI supply will drop approximately 1 billion. That would be a massive supply squeeze directly from the heart of monetization. And it's precisely this mechanism that's being underestimated here. Brett shows the surface, but the real picture is in the accounting. The market is facing a deflationary squeeze, and that's bullish for PDAI. Guys, and let me tell you, and I generally do feel like, for some reason, all the bearish news happens when we are in extreme fear and fearful times. And I really do feel like we're seeing a reversal here in general in crypto. And I feel like as we go up, we might see the whole flop thing become very, very bullish, confirming the benevolence of the extractors. We might see a tweet from Richard Hart saying, oh, what if PDAI can get fixed? And all of a sudden, everyone else who started calling people who are still believing in PDAI retards is crazy, man. The amount of hate some of like people really were like receiving. Thankfully for me, like, to be honest with you, I didn't really receive that much. Well, actually, to be fair, it's maybe because I'm not that phased from those comments really. But like, bro, it's going to be crazy. We are now the contrarian narrative within the contrarian blockchain. It's crazy. So we're the 1% of the 1%. Okay? It feels like December 2023 all over again. And guess what happened after December 2023? History was made. Hundreds of X's was made in 2024. People made money, guys. People made money. That mini altcoin season that we had, you know, in March and in late pump October, bro, come on now, guys. History was made, and now we have like 90 plus corrections on prices. So congratulations to everyone who joined in November of last year. This is literally your chance to have better prices than like day one PulseChain like people. You know what I mean? Like, because the core tokens have been fluctuating up and down, and I feel like recently creating all-time lows in PulseX and Pulse. Like, you're getting a better price than sacrificers. You know, and you know, I do feel like, yes, you know, the next leg up is going to be super exciting and stuff. But I really hope we didn't burn the bridge with the Rabi wallet. You know, we didn't burn the bridge with DBank. But it's just so sad to see, man. It's so disappointing to see that they just disabled the support with no statements. You know what I mean? Like, you cannot say, oh yeah, Pulsechain was too expensive. Are we really more like expensive than any other EVM chain? You know, is Ethereum paying you? If so, okay, let's do a fundraising so that Pulsechain can pay you. And I've already seen people try to mention this to them, saying like, hold on. And I think it was Petias, they mentioned, okay, we have a few whales that are willing to pay you to continue the support. And I think they didn't entertain the idea. And like, they're like blanking them, which is crazy because with Petias, they're used to very frequent responses, very quick responses. But all of a sudden, when we came to the situation, it's like, what happens, man? Like, what's wrong? You know, so people speculating, oh, is it because of the PDAI hate, PDAI FUD, and whatever? I really doubt so. I really do doubt so. You know, like, it really is just crazy. Because look what happened. Look what's the effect? A lot of people went ahead and they literally left ratings that reflected their actual genuine thoughts because they were users of Rabi. Guys, I've literally gone on like tens of Zoom calls where I helped onboard people and I told them, you know what? All you gotta do, download Rabi wallet on your phone or download the extension, and that is it. Go from there. It gets easier from there. Like, it was the one tool that I loved, and I told people you will get the best Pulsechain experience by having Rabi wallet, and now it's gone. So I am gonna say, like, I'm a little bit disappointed about that, you know, because come on, man, it's tough. And I will make a video about a alternative that is constantly upgrading, which is I'll mention now. You know, the portfolio tracker, which is Pulsefolio. I'll make a review on this in a separate video. And then for the wallet is internet money wallet. that one. They still have 2 major upgrades that I hope it comes sooner than later. But I'll still make a review on them because, hey, gotta show the supports to the native, supporters of PulseChain. And I love all the community made stuff like, GoPulse. Shout out to them. Like Petit is the best aggregator, 9mm, bring in the V3 9-inch, tons of tools, PulseCoin list with the stats. Like, come on now. So I'm really proud of the community that we have, to be honest with you guys. So anyways, we're moving on to the next tweet here. I was just gonna show you guys this. Imagine, because this is the next phase. This would be like way the next phase, right? Now imagine we already do the pump, and then now Richard Heart says, okay, we're at these high prices, great, we want to now incentivize stabilizing at these prices. What should we do? Let me re-instantiate the PulseX farms. And I was thinking, hold on, imagine he does this, imagine he does the stable pools, but for P stables. We've already seen that with PSDT, it's very close to pegging to 1-to-1 with PDAI using the CRV vaults. And with the PSDC, yes, right now it's actually very fluctuating a lot, like we've seen down here, but we will see. Like, imagine we have a world where 1 PDAI is equal to 1 PSDC is equal to 1 PSDT. And then now you have the ability to put them in a P stable LP, which, what's crazy is that I've seen people go here in the stable, and if you go on, it doesn't show the info. It's cool though. But yeah, let me go back here. I was actually gonna say, if you, oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's that question mark. If you put your cursor on that question mark, it literally mentioned pegged stable pools, which usually where they got this from, which I believe from PancakeSwap, it doesn't mention the word pegged, so they added it there in the description that they copy pasted. It's weird, you know what I mean? It's really, really weird that they mentioned this, but it's really cool stuff what's going on right now. And just in other news here, just shout out to Katie, who said, hey, someone asked her, do you think PDAI will succeed? Yes. I generally, it has great mechanics and was designed very well. It just needs some help to turn it back on in a way. And moving on to some Atropa news now. This is something that I haven't really talked about yet, which is Treasury Bill. The last time we spoke about this is when Atropa Dev minted like a whole trillion. He actually now successfully renounced T-Bill, and he burnt a good 33% of the supply. And so he said, Treasury Bill has now been renounced, and he changed his name on somewhere to Hamad. And he said 348 Treasury Bill has been burnt. And then a nice little update here from Coexistence, where a further 149 billion of Treasury Bill has been sent to the null address, so burnt. So that's really interesting to see. This is good movements, right? Because we already know Atropa is renounced. We already know Teddy Bear is renounced. We already now know that T-Bill is renounced. So that's really, really good. Just in general, he won't mint. But now it's just about his current holdings. Is he going to show the benevolence in terms of, burning all of that token? And obviously, what is he going to do with that Ethereum that he's accumulating on the other side? Only time will tell. What I am definitely following Coexistence. Okay, there we go. I don't know why it said. But anyways, we're going to move on to the next tweet here. This is what he was just talking about, really, that I wanted to mention. It says, cat's out the bag. Treasury Bill just got some stamp of approval. And this is from the logs that he said, we must consider that Richard Heart master plan might be to entice new holders at the bottom. 100 million LP per stable might be in range of acceptable. If price holds 2 billion Treasury Bill is equal to 100 million P stable, it is probably that Treasury Bill price go up will outpace P stable. Paced through end of May, it's totally doable. If I get all 300 million LP, I will burn all 3 LP. So there's that. That's his latest kind of updates. In other words, here we have Reptile Hybrid giving us a little bit of a theoretical theory here, saying Master Dev James Maria, explain explains the plan to peg P stables to $1 on PulseChain. He bought over 5 billion PDAI at the bottom, which he was very open about, by the way. And what happened in 2023 was an actual exploit. Well, not really an actual exploit. It's because of it took advantage over the fact that the oracles are incorrectly reading the price of Pulse, getting it confused with wrapped Ethereum. Okay, and then obviously people were able to were able to create those vaults and then literally take as much out of the vaults, which were extremely cheap. And then finally, some benevolent user voted to disable the mint function from the new vaults. So that's actually what happened. And what's crazy to me is that Richard Hart never tweeted about that exploit that increased the supply from 6 billion from pre-fork supply 6 billion to like 23. And you're telling me now he's tweeting about an exploiter? What happened in the past 2 years, bro? It's really crazy stuff. And he not only that, he also bragged about the charts. So he knew about it. It's so obvious, man. You have so many developers working on PulseX, looking at PulseChain and etc. You telling me they didn't notice that the Atropa / PDAI LP was the thickest burnt LP for that 1.5 years plus? Come on now. Anyways, he bought over 5 billion PDAI at the bottom. These guys are not messing around and have a bigger plan than most people can imagine. It's history in the making, legendary stuff. Why are so many people in PulseChain Hex community doubting this possibility and hating on those who see the bigger picture? Maria isn't a scammer. He's the man. The recent FUD storm was all smoke and mirrors. It had to be done this way because it's the highest of stakes. Satoshi Nakamoto 2.0. Fair enough. I mean, yeah, that's a kind of a great point, because why would someone who doxed himself, literally, this was him last year in Netherlands, guys, which, to be fair, I was so close to being there. Too bad, though. In the PulseChain tour, he was there and he was speaking and he was so open about, hey, he took advantage of PDAI and he got 5 billion. Like, he literally talked about it. So, you know what I mean? That doesn't sound like someone who has a scammy behavior, who doxes himself. So we really have to see what is unfolding, guys. So anyways, guys, listen, I'm going to end the video there. It is time for me to sleep. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you want to support me, you can become a YouTube member. You can check out my course link in the description. You guys are amazing. Go follow me on my Twitter, because I'm going to be making some nice posts over there as well. Go join my Telegram, be part of the conversation, say hi. Let me know what you think over there. But comment down below helps boost this video in the YouTube algorithm to people who are in crypto but have never heard of PulseChain. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I hope you're more bullish in general in crypto, and more importantly in your bags in PulseChain. We're all going to win. Wagamai. Do remember, big shout out to the man above. Trust in the process, trust in God. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.